Today, we will be telling the story of the mystery of Easter. Now, this bag, it is very purple. And purple is a very serious color. It can be king's color, or just the color of royalty in general. But it's also pretty sad. You know, Lent, I'd say Lent is also pretty sad. Let's see what's inside this bag. Oh, there are several pieces in this bag. We should count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. These pieces are all very different. But also, Advent is 4 weeks. And we have 4 pieces. We should keep counting. 5, 6. That must be all that is in this bag. These pieces are all very different, but they look like they can go together. Should I build them? I think I should. We have 6 pieces. There are 6 weeks in Lent. And Lent helps us prepare for Easter. Could it be that Lent is more of a mystery than Christmas? Now, this is in the shape of a cross. And it's purple and very purple, very sad. But, would you look at that? White. White's a very happy color. Other pieces have white? They do. What happens when would you look at that? They still all go together. And this, we have sad, which is the purple, when we are in Lent. But when we get to Easter, it's pure celebration. Easter turned things inside out and upside down. If you look at that, on the bag is white. See, you can't keep Easter just one Sunday. It goes on for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. All the way to Pentecost. Have you ever seen these colors in church? What do these colors do? What do you think is the most important part of Lent?
Is the legend of the Bluebonnet, which is an old tale of Texas, retold and illustrated by Tomie DePaola. Our church lawn used to be covered in bluebonnets. This book I picked up at the Alamo gift shop. Great spirits. The land is dying. People are dying too. The long line of dancers sang, "Tell us what we have done to anger you. End this drought. Save your people. Tell us what we must do so you will send the rain that will bring back life." For 3 days the dancers danced, the sound of the drums, and for 3 days the people called Comanche watched and waited, even though the hard winter was over. No healing rains came. Drought and famine are hardest on the very young and the very old. Among the few children left was a small girl named She Who Is Alone. She sat by herself watching the dancers. In her lap was a doll made from buckskin, a warrior doll. The eyes, nose, and mouth were painted on with the juice of berries. It wore beaded leggings and a belt of polished bones, and on its head were brilliant blue feathers. From the bird who cries, "Jay, Jay, Jay!" She loved her doll very much. Soon, She Who Is Alone said to her doll, "The shaman will go off alone to the top of the hill to listen for the words of the great spirits, and then he will know what to do, so that once more the rains will come and the earth will be green and alive, and the buffalo will be plentiful, and the people will be rich again." And as she talked, she thought of the mother who made the doll, and the father who brought the blue feathers, and she thought of the grandfather and the grandmother she had never known. They were all like shadows, and it seemed like long ago that they had died from the famine. The people had named her and cared for her, and the warrior doll was the only thing she had left from those distant days. "The sun is setting," the runner called as he ran through the camp. "The shaman is returning." The people gathered in a circle, and the shaman spoke. "I have heard the words of the Great Spirit," he said. "The people have become selfish. For years they have taken from the earth without giving anything back. Great spirits say the people must sacrifice. We must make a burnt offering, the most valued possession among us. And the ashes of this offering shall then be scattered to the 4 points of the earth, the home of the winds. And when this sacrifice is made, drought and famine will cease, and life will be restored to the earth and to the people. The people sang a song of thanks to the Great Spirit for telling them what they must do. I'm sure it's not my new bow that the Great Spirits want, a warrior said. Or my special blanket, a woman added, as everyone went to their teepees to talk and think over what the Great Spirits had asked. Everyone, that is, except she, who is alone. She held her doll tightly to her heart. You, she said, looking at the doll. You are my most valued possession. It is you that the Great Spirits want. And she knew what she must do. As the council fires died out and the teepee flaps began to close, the small girl returned to the teepee where she slept to wait. The night outside was still, except for the distant sound of the night bird with the red wings. And soon everyone in the teepee was asleep, except she who was alone. And under the ashes of the teepee fire, one stick still glowed, and she took it and quietly crept out into the night. And she ran to the place on the hill where the Great Spirits had spoken to the shaman. And stars filled the sky, but there was no moon. "O Great Spirit," she who was alone said, "here is my warrior doll. It is the only thing I have from my family who died in this famine. It is my most valued possession. Please accept it." And then gathering twigs, she started a fire with the glowing fire stick. And the small girl watched as the twigs began to catch and burn. And she thought of her grandmother and grandfather, her mother and father, and all the people, and their suffering and their hunger. And before she could change her mind, she thrust the doll into the fire. And she watched until the flames died down and the ashes had grown cold. And then, scooping up a handful, she who was alone scattered the ashes to the home of the winds, the north and the east and the south and the west. And there she fell asleep until the first light of the morning sun woke her. And she looked out over the hill, and stretching out from all sides where the ashes had fallen, the ground was covered with flowers. Beautiful flowers, as blue as the feathers on the hair of the doll, as blue as the feathers of the bird who cries, "Jay, Jay, Jay." And when the people came out of their teepees, they could scarcely believe their eyes. They gathered on the hill with she who was alone to look at the miraculous sight. There was no doubt about it. The flowers were a sign of forgiveness from the Great Spirit. And as the people sang and danced their thanks to the great spirits, a warm rain began to fall and the land began to live again. And from that day on, the little girl was known by another name, one who dearly loved her people. And every spring, the Great Spirit remembers the sacrifice of a little girl and fills the hills and valleys of the land, now called Texas, with the beautiful blue flowers, even to this very day. So I hope you like that story. And so I have a prayer for Lent. Lent is a time for giving up something valuable so we can remember how great a blessing it is. Lent is a time for taking up something valuable so we can remember to bring some blessing to others. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Take care.